What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, it's a miniature, and I thought maybe possibly I can make myself smaller. Kind of be one with the miniature. Like,
it's not how that works.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I could do a little something in here to kind of.
No.
You really know how to rain on my parade.
So sorry.
Take all the fun out of everything. Anywho, you know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia giving you another segment of Get Things Done. This particular segment, if you look down, you look to the sides, and you look behind you, you probably have a good inclination on what we're going to be talking about today. Has to do something with video. And you would be right. So, particularly, we're going to be talking about, it's for you guys out there that are videographers. You're looking to do different types of maybe short films, different scenes in your short films. Something like myself, who does spoken word, and you're trying to attach the visuals to go along with the spoken word performance. Maybe you want to do a music video, but you just don't have the means or the resources to create an elaborate set. We have all these different type of components attached to it to really bring your vision to life. Today, we're going to be talking about how you're able to do it in a more confined space. As you can see, we're in a home studio and allow you to create a set and get that high quality that you're looking for and really allow the viewers to get an understanding of what it is that you're trying to do within your video footage. So we're going to be discussing different types of tools, different types of equipment that you can utilize in order to capture and bring to life your vision. So let's start off with behind you. And we talked a lot extensively in past videos and past episodes of how you cannot underestimate the power of a backdrop. I definitely recommend it. It instantly gives you a background of creating these little lush, innovative environments, especially if you have the rigging, or in this case, as you can see, we have it pinned against the wall. It's very easily to go ahead and set up quite a few backdrops that coincides with exactly what you're trying to do within your footage, right? And then the ability of scaling in a proper way, which allows you to put different types of props and other things that you want to utilize within your footage. You can do that within the confines of a backdrop. So again, I definitely recommend it using a backdrop. It's almost like an instant solution to your problem, and it's definitely cost efficient. So then if you look down in front of you, you're going to see a little smorgasbord, as it were, of some different things on here that we're going to discuss. So there's a couple different devices, a couple new things that we just picked up for the studio that could definitely help out when adding textures to your footage. Remember, a lot of people think when it comes to textures, it has to be more from an effect standpoint, and it doesn't always have to be that way. Literally adding textures to your content can come by means of just subtle angling of your camera. Just adding a different perspective, a different view, a different vantage point when it comes to your footage. And then allowing yourself to use motion in different directions. Again, that adds texture to your footage, and it makes your footage interesting and not dull, where you're just constantly just right here with it. See me? Right? You got it. So let's talk about this device that you see in front of me. It's by a company called Suptig. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's how I'm looking at it. Sue me. Well, don't sue me. Any event, This is a nice device right here. If you notice right here on the top, it's basically a motorized disc that's underneath the cover. And it allows to create motion when it comes to the video camera that you're utilizing. And it doesn't come with the package when you buy it, when you purchase this device, but I would recommend for you to get an attachment that has a ball joint with it. Once you unscrew it, if you notice, you can kind of move it in additional angles as well. If you're just looking for a particular shot, obviously you want to keep it as flush, so you might want to keep it dead on in the middle. But if you're looking for something very more precise and more remote, the ball joint would allow you to give you that flexibility, as it were, to get in like a very off degree angle shot, right? So the neat thing about this is that does come with the device is that, as I unscrew this on top, what comes with it is a magnet. So a lot of times, we were just discussing, you are securing a lot of your devices within some type of screw attachment onto whatever rigging that you're using. The neat thing about this is yes, this is screwed on, but in order to utilize your video camera, you simply just put it on top and the magnet does the rest. Now, how cool is that? Now, would I say it's like really totally secure? For the most part, it is. You probably wouldn't want something near it, right? Because the blunt force of it, if it gets knocked over, might just knock the camera over. As you can see, I'm putting some force behind it to lift it up, and it is coming up. But as long as you don't have too much around it, it'll pretty much stay in place for the most part. What I do recommend is, and it's not even really more of a recommendation, it's more like it's definitely something that you have to keep in mind, is the weight of your video camera. This is definitely not meant for something if you have a very bulky video camera. Like as you can see over here, we got Big Bertha. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. This model that we have on here is something that I discussed before. It's the Canon EOS series. They're built and constructed in a way where it's light and it's meant to be like more portable, right? And more accessible. These type of cameras work very well and perfect with this. If you have something bulky, I'm sorry to say it's not going to work. There might be something out here that's similar to this device that can work for it. You would just have to do your research. I don't know any offhand, but just for the demonstration of this, definitely keep in mind the weight of your camera. I would say anything assessing 5 pounds in weight to 7 pounds and onward, I don't think it's going to properly secure it. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Now, when you look at it, as Nani the artist comes back around, you're going to notice in front of the screen, or in front of the device, we have a screen. We have some basic functionality here. Again, there's nothing high-tech about this actual device. We turn it on. And then you're going to notice some things. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but you're going to notice some things on the screen is giving you some basic information. Obviously, it tells you the battery life here on the corner. But the other pieces of information on the screen is tailored to the other functions that you see on here. You notice a button that says seconds. You got a button that says degrees, and you have a button that says minutes. And then you have a button here that says modes. So you could put this in multiple modes. Again, this is not a highly sophisticated device. It's meant for like basic motion functionality. But again, sometimes that's all you need to really bring a certain portion to of your video content more to life, right? You don't necessarily need something all really out there and constant motion all over the place. viewers are not going to get a real understanding of exactly what you want or what you specifically designed within that footage, right? So once it's turned on, you can set how many seconds in which you want the motion as far as how fast you want the motion to go, right? And then you can set it to different degrees. And then the seconds go along with minutes, where you can actually allow it to just be on its own within motion, and you don't have to touch it. It'll stay in motion based off the time that you allotted onto the device, right? So we'll go ahead. We have it in a certain mode already, where it's going to be like this constant motion, right? And then when you turn it on, or if you want it to get into motion, you're just going to press the power button. And as you notice, it's going into 360. That's how we got it set up. And you see, we have it set up to do like one loop, right? If I press the minute button, I would increase that loop into which it will constantly go in that 360 motion until the time is up, right? As you're doing it, you press it again. You could press the second button and see how you can make it slower now. This is a great thing to utilize if you were going to use like a blur effect to your footage. This would be great. This is like the perfect speed. And again, if you wanted to stop before it ends on a loop, you just press the power button again and it instantly stops. And then again, you turn it back on. And you can see how it goes even slower. Or now you could just go back to making it go faster. So it's definitely on the fly controls, basic functionality. But again, I know this doesn't seem like much, but something just like that just adds very quick flair. It adds that quick texture, just getting this total 360, right? Sometimes people say they're adding that kind of angling into their footage, but it doesn't quite look 360, right? It looks a little bit less, maybe like 240. When you notice here, you're getting the full functionality. You're getting the full 360 effect. And sometimes that's all you need, right? And as you notice, it's very easy to use. So just remember that if you were going to get a device like this, again, the company's called Suptig. Just know that whatever video camera that you use, it has to be light in weight. Just keep that in mind. So we move on to our next thing. We were just talking about Big Bertha over here. And you're noticing there's some kind of contraption in front of her or on top of her. This is called a matte box. What is so great about a matte box? Well, to make a long story short, matte boxes are great for creating this real deep cinematic score to your visuals without having like this very, again, elaborate rigging or setup, right? Again, I have to reiterate or emphasize the fact that it comes down to your editing process. The way you edit will amplify and complement what you do physically when you're creating your set and you're utilizing these different devices, right? But using this matte box, it instantly gives you that cinematic feel that you want to look. You want your footage to look as realistic as possible, right? You definitely wanted to have like a movie feel to it, right? Without necessarily doing too much in the editing process of adding all these different types of filters, right? Because sometimes you can overdo it with the filters. You can over edit sometimes, so just keep that in mind. But here with this matte box, you got your lenses. You got your lens on your video camera. You're going to set it and kind of screw it in based off these lens rigs. Pardon me for all the stickiness. Pause. Any event. You have basically these adapter rings. And if you notice, it gives you the size or the dimensions, right? So this has to match up with your lens, right? So it allows you to screw it on the outside rim of your lens, and then it properly secures in place. Here's the thing though. Unfortunately, you might come across a video camera that you're utilizing that doesn't match any of the dimensions that comes with these lens adapters. Unfortunately, we have one here. We talked about it before. This is our go-to right here. It's the Nikon Coolpix P950 series. Love it to death. But for some reason, they have a very odd dimension when it comes to their lenses. I don't know why, but they just do. So unfortunately, the sizes that were given that came with the package didn't quite fit. The one that I have on here presently is the 82 millimeter. And I'm able to screw it, but it's not secure. So now I'm looking like, I'm really in a tough bind. Did my research, try to find something out there that could properly fit this. Couldn't find it, right? So I came across this idea of using, something as simple as electrical tape. And I put it on the lining. You can see a little bit right there, unfortunately. But I put it on the outside lining of the lens. And then enough inside of the actual ring adapter. And then you can see as I lift it up, it's secure. So this is just a trick if you're in a situation, in a bind, where something that you're trying to screw onto your lens, it's just not fitting well. I definitely recommend using electrical tape. Don't go crazy with it, but just use enough, and it creates enough of a padding there, right? So that it keeps whatever adapter piece that you're putting onto your camera, it stays in place. Then we talk about the different lens filters. And it comes from a company called K&F Concepts. I talk about this company a lot. I also talk about Newer as well. They make really good products, especially when it comes to accessories for your video cameras, camcorders, any kind of like video device, right? They make really good accessories that go along with it. Just a case in point, if you want to add a little bit more tint to your footage, again, K&F Concept, if you put this on your lens itself, already comes with colored pop filters that you could put on, that you will press on before you will put your lens filters on, right? But if you're just looking for that added bit of tint, they do supply these pop filters that you can utilize. If you notice here, we have one for UV, and then you have your standard one. And basically within this lens filter, it gives you like this spectrum of color. And depending on the way you set up your light fixtures and your light riggings, you create like this mood basically within your video content. This spectral, as it were, when it comes to the colors, and add a little bit more nuance, a little bit of to the visuals, right? So we look at this one, we open it up. They come in these really nice packages. Pull it out. As you can see, this is what it looks like. And I mean, you could just see the quality in it. And the great thing about this is that they're waterproof as well. So again, if you wanted to capture something in the rain, as it were, to try to keep that kind of effect, or you're creating something to that illusion, as it were, within your studio space, even if you have some kind of liquid that fall on here, it's not going to damage the lens in any way, shape, or form. They're waterproof. You got your inside rigging that will go inside the matte box. So what you want to do is you got these little slots that you want to put this in, right? You want to make sure that it is secure. And then right here on the end, you want to pull this out to properly put this in. And you could kind of feel it snap into place. And you hear it a little bit of a, you probably couldn't hear it too much, but you can hear it when it is actually fully into place. And this is how it would look. And then from here with the matte box, you're going to put this in here. Again, make sure it's within the slot. You're going to bring it on down all the way. And then you have this bar that you push in, right? And you're going to feel it like snap into place. And there you go. And then lift up. And now instantly, you can start creating this like cinematic type of feel to your footage. I am not saying this is like an end-all solution here when it comes to like creating like this really intense cinematic score to your footage. I'm not saying that at all. Of course, if you're in position to get the big rigs and the more high-tech equipment, by all means go that route. I would never tell anybody not to. Anything that we promote here or suggest through this video series is for people who are within a budget but still want to work toward putting out that high quality content. This is the best way to go. For you to purchase a matte box is very inexpensive. You're looking at between $45 and $60. These are a little bit more expensive to get the lens filters, unfortunately. And when you buy a matte box, at least the ones that I've seen, they don't come with the lens filters with them. So you have to buy this separately, unfortunately. And these can cost about $90. There are some out there from other companies, like Newer, that I was talking about. You're looking about a little bit more, maybe around like the 110 to 130 range. So the lenses are definitely more expensive than the actual matte box itself, but to me it's definitely worth it to try to create as much of a cinematic score to your footage as possible. I definitely recommend this, and as you can see, it's easy to assemble. It's nothing to it. Right? So from there, you got all this set up. Great, Zeus. I got all this going on. I got these different devices. I understand about the motion. I understand about adding this filter on here to give me more of a cinematic feel, a vibe when it comes to the footage. We have the backdrop. We have the background, right? So now if you look to the sides, we got the light fixtures. It's all about tint and temperature, right? Make sure you have enough of it, but you have a balance of it, right? You don't want to go too much, right? And then you want to allow yourself to have a light fixture where it enables different types of lighting effects. As I turn this one on, and you notice the light effect that we got going on is pretty neat, right? A nice timing of it where it's not overwhelming, and it adds a nice, just subtle feel to coincide with the backdrop, right? Then we turn on the light where you get a little bit more feel of it. And then you can utilize something like this, what we talked about before. This comes from Small Rig, where this is a more portable light fixture where you have the pop filter that you can put on here, along with the pop filter stencils. So it actually comes with it when you buy it. Don't know if you can see these. You have seen them before. You can actually make these yourself as well. But the neat thing about it is, as you can see, it comes with different types of shapes. Geometrical shapes that you can utilize. Or standard images that you're familiar with. This is supposed to emulate kind of like a sunrise. This can simulate like the moon. Right. Maybe like somewhat like a silhouette coming out of like a window type of structure. As you can see, we got like an arrow. So it actually has definitive shapes on here that you're familiar with, or other like geometrical shapes. Just something to just add some quick textures. Again, that's what you're looking for. And all of this can be amplified more when it comes to the editing, right? Where you can bring a little bit more attention to it. But in the meantime, just to add these practical effects, right? Utilizing something like this small rig as we turn it on. And as you can see up here, if you look on the ceiling, it's the shape of a planet looking like Saturn with the rings. But look how you're able to just add that subtleness and see how by dimension we can make it as little and keep it centered, or bring it out where it covers a lot. Make sure the density of it is all the way up, right? And yes, you can, it is able, as you can see here, oh, excuse me, right here, where it allows you to put it on a tripod if you want to. But you see how something as subtle as this, you got the plant, and how you can instantly let me see how we can like change the coloring of it. And it's just very subtle in which you can do it's very subtle. And it's also, it's like a, basically like a effect, an imprint that you're putting into your footage. Again, it's subtle, but it can be effective. And if you get an understanding of the program that you're using for editing and how you can amplify that a little bit more, where it kind of stands out and people are aware that it's there, or you can make it so that it just stays with that, it stays subtle. But again, it adds a nice, measure of texture to your footage. All right. Oops. Turn on the light. And that's what you're looking for. Again, some people feel like you need a whole bunch of different things in order to bring so much more and make your footage more enamored and more with that pizzazz, when in actuality you don't. You can use subtle effects as this, subtle riggings as this, nothing too over the top. And as long as you have the ability when it comes to editing to know to create that balance within that editing, as far as how effective or how potent the effects that you put on there, the filters that you put on there, I think you're going to be fine. I think you're going to put out some really good footage, some high-end, high-quality footage. And then for those out there who are like myself, I have a decent memory. But one thing about me is that I don't have the greatest of memory when it comes to like the stuff that I write. So if you're doing some kind of spoken word or you're doing some type of scene within your short film, obviously if you're doing a music video, you're going to be reciting your lyrics, right? You know, you're going to be reciting some type of monologue within your footage, right? So it kind of looks a little bad, right? If you have something right in front of you and you're making it so obvious that you're looking down at it, right? Just so that you can get a quick memory update on what your lyrics is or whatever it is that you're going to be reciting within your footage. I have a suggestion here or a solution. If you notice here on the screen, we have an app called Prompter Pal that I came across with. And it's a very, very extremely easy application to use. And it basically comes up as a teleprompter without having to use your video camera in order for the words to come up on the screen. You can literally just upload a document and whatever wording is within that document, it comes up on the screen. Right? So to show you it real quick, you just come down here to new script. The only drawback about this is that, yes, you can see how you could pull from Google or just pull from your file directory that's on your computer. The only bad thing about this is that, as you can see here, they're very specific on which you're going to be pulling from, like the file format. So if you notice, if you're just going to import from your file directory from your computer, you can only pick from these three. Right? If you're going to actually pull from Google Drive itself, then you only have these two to pick from. So just keep that in mind. These are the usual ones anyway, that usually Word documents will come in these type of formats. But just keep that in mind. But it also gives you the option of, you could type it in manually, or you could scan a QR code. Maybe you want to pull something from your website. Maybe you want to pull something from your social media, right? You make it into a QR code, you scan it onto here, and it instantly comes up. So we're going to import from Google Drive. Come here. Go to my projects. Go to short film. You want to make sure down here that you're covering that. Right now it just has it in plain text. I'm looking for a PDF file. Okay, click on that. And as you can see, it instantly comes up over here. It's really that simple, guys. It's not no very complex type of situation when it comes to this application. Click on it, and voila. Everything comes up. All the wording that comes up within that particular document is on here. Right? And then from there, you go ahead and click this, and it gives you simple controls. Probably the main thing that you will be utilizing is this right here, where you can control the speed. So like right now it's at 100. So as you click on play, it gives you 3 seconds to get yourself together before it goes. And you can see the speed in which it's going. Pretty good speed, right? But again, it might be a little bit too much for yourself. So if you want, you could just bring it on down. Let's bring it on down to 30. All right. Then we go ahead and press play. Again, you get your countdown. And you see how slower it is now. So that's the great thing about this is simple functionality. You could just set the speed in which you want it on the fly instantly. All right. There's a timer on there. You can increase the size of the font or the lettering. You can actually go ahead and record the audio If that's all you're looking for, just to do audio, you're not necessarily filming. Just go ahead and press later on that. It has Bluetooth functionality. You can change the size of it. Right. When you want it a little bit more centered. And then they have it so that you can add more to this if you want. So again, basic functionality on the fly. You can add more wording to whatever it is that you got, your script as it were, your outline, whatever it is that you want to, that you're pivoting off of, that you're going to recite within your footage. You can make any kind of changes that you want on the fly. You can change the speed of it. And then you can instantly make this into audio or attach this to your video and have the video playing on your screen in another window as you're reciting your script or your outline. And I definitely recommend this. The pricing is fantastic. If you wanted to do it from a weekly subscription, it's only $5, $4.99 a week. I definitely recommend just paying the lifetime licensing for it. It's only $34.99. Once you pay that fee, that's it. There's no subscription. There's no other fees attached to it. That's it. It's yours to keep, utilize as much as you want. If you wanted to do for yearly, it's $10 less. But again, you can't beat that. The functionality, how easily accessible it is, very intuitive, and it helps people like myself, who's not great with the memory. You could look down, re-jog your memory, and go about with your footage. And that's it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Just wanted to give you some quick enlightenment that yes, you can create a set for yourself for your music videos. If you want to do some spoken word, or if you just want to do some kind of cool, innovative scene within your short film, some kind of video content that you're trying to create, you can do it in a confined space within your own home studio. You can do it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. You know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia. As hype as I could be. No, but seriously, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And the only thing left to say is get things done. Check you later.